Okay, welcome on Periscope and for video. Before we begin, I'll go through the books like I usually do. This Common Ground, Seasons on an Organic Farm by Scott Shasky. And that one, I was going to read a little segment. I just lost the page. Maybe I'll read this one. Let's see which one I have the page. Okay, I lost the page, sorry. 1 second. Well, I guess I'll just read this one. Summer. Every leaf shakes, the light again begins to talk. Cicadas have found their August voice. Surprisingly lightly, everyone lets go. Ripe now, all we've sung into being since before the leaves. Megan Chasky, August 1994. Okay, The Seed Underground, A Growing Revolution to Save Food by Janice Ray. Evergreen, Cultivate the Enduring Customer Loyalty That Keeps Your Business Thriving by Noah Fleming. Cut Flowers of the World, a complete reference for growers and florists, Johannes Murray and Ben Eric Van Wyck. And it's got reference pictures, and look at those roses. Flowers are always a good visual. The Social Media Bible by Lon Safko. Tactics, Tools, and Strategies for Business Success. 2nd edition. Okay, and New Getaway, Smithsonian, New York on the Edge, about the waterfronts and how they've worked on all the waterfronts and given them life that they didn't have before, since like industrial age. They're beautiful. I love the waterfronts. And anyway, so that's a little bit of that. And Vogue, Upbeat Style for Spring. New Scientist, Secret Map of the Brain. It's really where work all comes from, right? Industry Week, 6 Fantastic Factories. Wildlife, Keeping It Native. And Inc., 24 Days in the Lives of 8 Super Productive CEOs, The Way I Work. And Tropical Gardens, 42 Dream Gardens by leading landscape designers in the Philippines. By Lily Gamboa Oboyo and Elizabeth V. Reyes. Photography by Luca Invierte Tettoni. Well, it's beautiful photography. Okay. Hello. I can't make out the names so well, but glad you joined. Okay, April Showers, welcome to Roundtable 13, April 27th, 2017. April Showers Business Flowers. The original 21st Century Vision Business Roundtable. A New York City, New York Gold Tours meetup broadcasting independently 45 minutes a month about business relevancies from a meeting room at the Science, Industry, and Business branch of the New York Public Library on Madison Avenue, New York City. I just need these books. Thanks for dropping in. I'm host Loretta Jones, CEO of New York Gold Tours. Once we begin promoting these 21st century vision social media and local events, they'll accommodate 9 business leaders who RSVP on meetup.com to meet local to global here with me on Periscope and the web. Well, here with me to Periscope and the web. Come to one or come to all. I'll start each of 3 segments with talking points that I've written out into few-minute sections of fresh new ideas, inviting experts or anyone concerning business to join in, then a 10-minute discussion following each segment. Later, use video of the roundtable to structure talks in your own organizations. Free on Periscope, Skype, YouTube, and Google+. Join the conversations on Facebook and Pinterest, and follow New York Gold Tours on Twitter. Okay, so definitions. Business. Exchange of goods, services, concepts for promotion of revenue, idea, personal, corporate, or greater good. First talking points. Daily toll. Like the lone seed waiting for its time, tucked in the moist, dark soil of earth and ground, and the cocoon's metamorphosis in time, the daily grind in the business world brings the next season's yield. Beginnings like spring's new starts wouldn't happen without the work of seeds. And then it goes right round to start all over again by a seed. Did you know that the roots, the flowers, the leaves of a plant all exist so there can be more seeds? Plants' most important part, their innate purpose, is seed. Almost like workers or baseline function in a corporation. Leveled or not, climbing, sprouting output, creating the business process. On one of the rainy days before this roundtable, I walked like a seed of my company from one obligation to the next without my hood, my umbrella closed in my bag, enjoying the light sprinkle of cool raindrops on my face. I wanted a feeling of waking up to a new season. New possibilities, fresh starts about to happen, and I got it instantly. For my business on the cusp of an exciting launch, that's the climate I face while I make sure to enjoy the moment. As much as I love the sunny blue sky days of spring and summer, this still darker time of deep New York gray lends perfect. The toil weather, the toll from the work of winter, while its own reward is the readiness for the bright new beginning. For business in startup phase or well-established enterprises, what can be envisioned when the daily grind is respected as the gray, necessarily stark period, sprinkled with hydration of ideas, amped up power, or whatever the commodity flexor of your organization? Realize the oxygen in drops of rain that penetrate the ground, bringing seeds nourishment like a fresh concept can bring your company refreshment too. What would that look like? To have environments ready for new thinking, ready for all weather, metaphorical cocooning if need be, of workers, of job roles. Remember the Unlocking Creativity Roundtable, where we examined how fresh air, water, space, empty space can nourish us, our work, and our environs. Spring is a fine time to reorganize cycles of business in new terms, not just the old terms of growth and decline, terms that give weight to the alternating weather conditions of a business cycle. Weather being the changing cycles in the business. Once again, it seems we need only to look to nature, for example. I'm not religious, but the Bible came my way at one point in my life, and I really enjoy turning to it for guidance and advice. Religions do have fundamentals of belief in higher powers like nature and natural order of things that can't be argued, like nature's of blessed mothering and concepts of plowing your fields, I'll always remember discovering the Bible's statements like, do the work at your hands, but also sayings like, many advisors make victory sure. I am in the library, I should keep my voice down. Okay, like many advisors make victory sure. And today I'm glad to say I've got a few advisors for my business, and I'm open to more while certainly doing the work at my hands, though I'd like to give back more in the future. Like seeds have variety, variety is another thing in the Bible touted as enriching to life. Variety within parameters, of course, and if we look at the varieties of seeds, from watermelon to giant magnificent redwoods that have seeds only 1/16 of an inch long, our minds at least can be opened and amazed while we consider what types of variety we can implement at work. The daily grind succeeds with focus, but there's so much variety in nature from which to take example. Adultery, breaking from promise, turning your commitments wrong in most religions, isn't the kind of variety of which we speak as desirable, of course. We mean to look at the kind that might be envisioned if you look over the fields of your company's product mix. Deeper assortment, a growth scale, plans, probably not adding industries, though doing so wouldn't be uncommon in these days of players buying across industries to acquire parts of a business you used to only build into by years of hard work, hard-won lessons, and feedback application. Whatever stage, however, a business can benefit from the exercise of seeing itself in the underground void phase and appreciating it. There in low, restful, contemplative stages of goal setting and foresight, value can be found. Cycling the seed stage is in an actual and recurring phase to be revered is important for a business. So before we discuss that, a quote about seed by a Greek philosopher found on brainyquote.com. From a small seed, a mighty trunk may grow. Aeschylus. So now 10 minutes to discuss April showers, business flowers. First talking points. Think seed in its stages and resting phases for the workplace. Resting phases for the workplace. Okay, so we can pause now and on the video so that you can take 10 minutes to discuss in your own organization. And on Periscope, we can go live with some discussions now about April showers, business flowers. So the routine quality of seeds, it goes in cycles and starts all over again, we can liken to our own building of habits and routines in the workplace or habits of our own. I heard a quote once, I forgot who said it, but it said, good habits soon become like chains that will not be broken. And so if we think of the cyclical nature of seeds, how they always, return the ability to make more of their purpose, that's encouraging. And rainy days and all, I walk the walk of my company. Imagining nourishment in its ideas phase is helpful. Because we need to, even if we're not usually doing the creative work and we're just doing the mundane, it's good to remember that creative time will need downtime. We'll need that gray blank stage of nourishment, and then the work can begin. And there's so many varieties of seed. If we think about it in terms of business, it seems like we've hardly tapped into any of our potential if we look at it in terms of what nature provides, right? And then we can also look at in terms of companies that buy other segments of companies, or just buy other entire companies outright, which is so common today. Instead of working toward a certain part of business, they just buy the company that's already in that business. And you know, what happens to a seed if it's transplanted into another environment, and you know, that kind of thing. We can look at nature for examples, and maybe you know, get some lessons on how to do that in wise ways. And see what their nourishment would be. What would a company's nourishment be? You know, what would their water be? So I am talking by myself. Let's see. Okay, so we will go back to segment 2. All right, so the videos can be resumed. And second talking points, nourish. Not all plants bear seeds. Not all workers will be superstars. Ferns and mosses reproduce by spores. Many plants which do bear seeds also have another method of reproduction and production. Onions, daffodils, and lilies develop bulbs from which new plants sprout. Strawberries have stems that creep along the ground, each joint bearing a new plant. Lawn grass has stems creeping underground, new shoots sprouting from the many joints. Potatoes have eyes, and each eye is a plant bud. What does productivity have in common with plants, and where does it energize? Is it nourished on its own in an environment rich with nutrients, or does some type of incentive package rain down simply from sensible salary dictates? Maybe the measures should be more organic to the employee, the type of an employee within the organization. Organic to a department, a facility, a conglomerate. What are its seeds? What are its flowers? What plants or output is it producing? In what cycles? How can it be assured that the brand will live on well past current seasons? Taking the time to remember importance of seeds can be worthwhile since seeds are of such great importance. More examples: widest use of seeds in nature is for food. Where is the food in your organization, and how might you structure that to follow its best nourishment flow? For people, rice is one seed most important, especially for cereal. Seed foods in the vegetable garden include beans, peas, tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, okra, cucumbers, squashes, pumpkins, and melons. Coffee, chocolate, and cocoa are beverages made from seeds. See? Vanilla flavoring comes from seed. See how an element in its origin can sprout out unbelievable potential if you buy the examples? Coffee and cocoa, seeds alone, you can't make that stuff up. What became of those to our societies? So stop, look, and listen is a good method for strategizing to incorporate lessons that can be applied from nature. Cotton is the fluffy down of seed, another example. Even more important are the oils extracted from seeds. For foods, salads, cooking, and in making soaps and perfumery, linoleum, printer's ink, artists' colors, paints and varnishes, insecticides, I discovered peppermint oil is valuable for many other things. But no, I discovered it to be the best mosquito repellent. Way before helpful hints of Instagram and Pinterest existed, I'd successfully passed my own fears of DEET onto my then 7-year-old son, hopefully minus the neurosis. But it's these Oil is valuable for so many other things. Seeds are used in making alcohol, plastics, rubber, and medicine. Surely our businesses haven't reached their potential. We have to think about the nourishment part. What nourishes them? Profit, cash flow, sales. And don't forget the resting gray part. And what are they strong enough to bear? What is the segment being analyzed, and what is its purpose? If we extracted sole segments from our work productions, condensed down and allocated to structures of growth, their properties like seeds, would our work lives be better? Would we enrich ourselves, our co-workers, our organizations, as we work with the work at our hands? And the flowers are blossoms of plants and trees, bloom almost everywhere on Earth. Some flowers grow on high mountains at the edges of snowfields and glaciers. Others live in the shallow parts of oceans. Even hot, dry deserts have many bright blossoms during and after the rainy season. Most flowers need soil in which to grow, but some can grow on tree branches. Others float on lakes and streams. About the only place that flowers do not grow are in the ice-covered parts of the Arctic and Antarctic, and in the open seas. Man depends completely on flowers and flowering plants for his food, which, remember, came from seed. Flowering plants include almost all grains, fruits, and vegetables. Even the animals that we use for food, such as cattle, hogs, and sheep, live on flowering plants. Excuse me. There are about 200,000 known kinds of flowers, roughly 10 times as many companies listed in stock exchanges all around the world, according to Cora. Flowers range in size from water blossoms, so small they can be seen only with a microscope, to tropical flowers that are 3 feet wide. World Book Encyclopedia article by Harold Norman Moldenk says, they vary in what they look like, smell like, function for us, and their contribution to the world around us, and even offer symbolism tied to feelings or emotions. Pure vision enrichment at its finest. Whatever form, the process of bearing life or product or output takes work and is inspiring. Germination, traveling, growth, lightness, as for the ones that take flight in the wind like cotton, thistle, maple, and pine, embody ease of work. Yet have you noticed how rare evergreens can be? How can our work during whatever structures of an organization reap rewards nourishing the next parts, like seeds, flowers, and plants? The sum of all parts, true to their nature, healthy, strong, withstanding the elements, and working with the weather or conditions of the day to work hard and prosper. Before we discuss that, a quote about hard work found on brainyquote.com. What is success? I think it is a mixture of having a flair for the thing that you are doing, knowing that it is not enough, that you have got to have hard work and a certain sense of purpose. Margaret Thatcher. So now 10 minutes to discuss April showers, business flowers. Second talking points. How to nourish a company. Okay, so the video may pause. And live on Periscope. So what is nourishment in the workplace? For some, at the blush of Google employees, it's just a simple, sparse water cooler. First, though, a company's seeds might not be its employees, it might be its factories or projects. You have to decide that. What are the flowers? Are they the products, star employees, the headquarters? Only then can you decide how to nourish them. For seeds, maybe a cocoon-like room opposite of all the playthings many contemporaries offer up. For that gray time, the necessarily blank time of nourishment. Comparing the variety of flowers alone in nature, we can say there's so much more potential for businesses out there. It all takes work, and work must be energized, focused, purposeful. Okay, so hello, welcome. Okay, so we will go back to the third segment, third talking points, third and final segment. Okay, corporate health. When a corporation is healthy, it can think of branching out. Now we're talking trees. These days of buying the branches may prove ill-formed. Companies that just purchase the part of their company that they'd like to expand into without having built up the knowledge, practices, indices, and understanding seem oft-times precariously perched. Their roots and stem or supporting trunk may not be strong enough to bear the weight they've so suddenly taken on. But when the company is strong enough, alliances can be forged that are beneficial well beyond advisory boards and focus groups, perhaps even better than our Roundtable series here. Who knows, the possibilities are nearly endless. Just as functions in a company vary frequently as much as members of a team might differ, sizes in nature of seeds, plants, flowers, trees vary almost as much as different kinds of seeds. Another shout out to diversity. Tobacco seeds are so tiny that one seed pod may contain as many as 40,000 seeds. Not just workers or output can be looked at as seeds of an organization, but so can its premises, its values. Not to infinitum, but the possibilities are almost endless when you think in terms of organic nourishment. Employing your business in focused directions is essential, but seeing its options of variety is an exercise in vision strategy. Same with social media forums. How many social media outlets should a business see itself in, and how many types of business can a company do on social media? It's a good practice to set an agenda. Social media can be about relationship building, and when a company is standing well, they can develop good relationships with the public or those other players in their field. Industry building. What if a next phase might be social consciousness. When incorporating charitable aspects into your company's outreach, maybe think variety, like farmland type variety in a merchandise mix. What if your company were so healthy it could picture itself a happy little garden with plenty to cultivate, develop, share, and enjoy? Giving outreach like handing out flowers is a prospective opening concept. Doesn't it make you feel like your business can be more sociable already? Before we discuss that, a quote about fruitful branching found on brainyquote.com. And it was a very, very fruitful and great relationship between the Stones and the Beatles. It was very, very friendly. Keith Richards. So now 10 minutes to discuss April Showers Business Flowers. Third talking points. Fruitful. Okay, so the video can pause, or it can end now to take the final segment of talking points. Or the final segment of group discussion. And live on Periscope. Okay, third segment, corporate health. Can you see your business's premises or purpose in options of variety? Are you using social media that way? As a garden, maybe, sharing beauty? I remember Mick Jagger, a Rolling Stone, of course, singing a Beatles song at a Super Bowl, which was 2005, I believe. It might have been 2006, because I was moving back to New York from Connecticut. And he was singing, "Get back, Loretta, your mama's waiting for you." And that's from a Beatles song. And Loretta is my name. And it kind of crazily, I took it personally at the time, because it was not a welcomed, it was a hardship move that I was having to make with my son. And after a work injury that I was suffering from, a lot of injustice that I was going through at the time. And anyway, but so the quote that Keith Richards said about their relationship building, he had to be referring to back in the 60s or 70s, a little before my time, when John Lennon was still alive and they were still the Beatles. And so to last all that time up until 2005 or 2006, when Mick Jagger is singing a Beatles song on stage. Well, I'm thinking because they had a friendly relationship. You can always get rights and stuff to do that, but it implies that they still had a friendly relationship. So those things last too, if they're nourished like seeds. So I don't know what you can think of in terms of relationship building for your own organization, but when your company is healthy and in good stands, you can think of branching out in all sorts of ways. And if you just look to nature as, for example, we haven't even begun to realize the possibilities of business. So if you have anything to add, I'd love your opinion. Okay. Well, thank you very much for dropping in. I hope you enjoyed tonight's roundtable, and I hope you will come back next month. It's on every last Thursday of every month. Okay, take care and good night.